Hey guys, it's Cole here from North Coast Constrictors. Just want to go over a couple of the latest girls that I've just picked up for my next breeding season for next winter 2022. One of those girls is actually going to be 2023, but she's a real beaut and I was very lucky to get my hands on her. Firstly, over here we've got a normal or wild type 100% het clown. Let me just pull it out. Unfortunately, she's in the blue, so I'm not going to hold on to her too much, but she is weighing in now, so I'm just referring to my notes here. She's probably sitting here at about 1100 grams at the moment. She's got a little bit of water on her. I've spritzed her down so that she doesn't have any stuck shed, but you know, she's a really great snake and a nice addition, being 100% het clown. You know, clowns are always, if you pair them up to the right males, you get some really great males, really great offspring. Next here we have next over here we've got a Blade 100% het clown. She's a little lighter. She's sitting at around between 900 and 950 grams. She's an adult, sub-adult. Whoa, sorry. She got a bit of a fright there. Usually a lot of my, I've only had her for about a week. A lot of my snakes are very used to being rubbed under the chin. I do that with them, but I still have to build up a relationship with these new ones. They're not used to me. They're still getting to know me. You'll see a lot of the snakes that I pull out, they're not as jumpy, they're not as skittish at all. I try not to handle too much, but at the same time, my snakes do know me. But this girl, I've had her only a week, same as the other girl, and she's still got to get used to me. So let me just put it back in her. I wanted to eat in a couple of days' time, so I don't want to do too much handling. She hasn't taken a meal yet. I try, if I've just bought a snake, I've just taken a snake into my collection, I try to give it about 7 to 10 days before I'll offer them a meal, let them get used to their enclosure and the smells and everything that's going on around them. It's very rare that a snake will eat in the first 2 days or so, but you see she's actually calming down quite nicely now, where you can see that with the tongue flicks they're starting to be longer and slower. The quicker and more sporadic the tongue flicks are, the more nervous and uptight the snake is, but when they become a little bit longer and slower and more deliberate, that means that they're calming down. But anyway, let me go ahead and put her back. I've got some other nice girls to show you. Just firstly, for the record, this is my first breeding season. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that this is my first breeding season. I had 10 females, adults only, females to pair up this season. So far I've only had 1 ovulation and 1 clutch of eggs. It took about 7 months to achieve that. I do think that I'll be lucky, fingers crossed, if I've got maybe another 3 or 4 snakes that go for me and ovulate and have eggs. I just think that being the first season with me, even though I bought them as adult proven breeders, except for two of those girls weren't proven breeders. They were adults, but they hadn't proven out yet. The rest were, and I think just changing from that environment and coming across to my environment, which was in April, and the breeding season started pretty much you know, 4 to 6 weeks later after that. They hadn't had time to adjust, I think personally, and they locked up fantastic. There was no reason to believe that they wouldn't go. But to date, I'm still waiting for ovulations from the bulk of those girls, which is a little bit disappointing when it's your first season. I bought adult proven breeders so that I could produce some snakes this year, but I bought a lot of juveniles and a lot of sub-adults that I'm going to be breeding next year and in 2023. So anyway, speaking of the next girl, this is a girl that's going to go in 2023 for me. She's a black pastel pard. She's incredible, but she's only weighing in about 300 grams, and she's definitely not going to be ready in next winter, which is approximately 7 months away, 6-7 months away. She won't be up to size. I've heard a lot of different very reputable guys say that you can pair females from 1200 grams onwards and from 18 months to 2 years onwards. Personally, and this is just my own take on that, I think that it's too light and 18 months is too young. I don't think they've reached sexual maturity, and the reason why I believe this is because I had 2 females in my collection that I was told I could breed. One was about 1250 grams, the other one was about 1600 grams, but they were 18 months old. And although both of them locked up, they never ovulated. And I think it would have been better for me to wait an extra year and possibly get them as close to the 1800 to 2000 gram mark that I can, and them to be at least 2 to 2.5 years old before I introduce a male to them. So let me show you this black pastel pard. She's an absolute beaut, and if you take a look at her here, she's a high white pard, black pastel pard. I'm just hoping that she relaxes a little bit so that we can see her colors. She's only got markings on her head and on it just on the tip of her tail there, you can see, and then on her head. But a black pastel pard is an awesome female to have in your collection, and I've got a very exciting 2023 season planned for her with a great male. But yeah, she'll definitely only be ready to breed in 2023. Sticking with pards, this is also one of my latest girls I picked up about 2 weeks ago. She is an adult. She's 3 years old, just under 3 years old. I bought her as an adult, but she's unproven. The previous breeder battled with her a bit. She's a great looking snake. You can see that. She has locked up this year with one of his snakes, but he battled to get her on food, and she hasn't ovulated. This guy's such a big breeder that he doesn't really waste his time with, you know, snakes. He doesn't, you know, he's got so many that he doesn't really need to keep and work with. He's got hundreds and hundreds. So he offered it to me. He's a guy that I bought 90% of my snakes from, and I really wanted an adult visual pard female that I can work with and get her ready for next season, 2022. And I do believe that if I work with this girl and she stays in a nice, good, decent, constant, stable environment, which I've got her in now, and she's meticulously looked after just like all my snakes, absolutely pampered, all of them. And I'll try and get her up to as close to 2,000 grams as possible in the next 8 months. She is weighing in probably around about the 1,150, 1,200 gram mark now. Maybe a bit more. I forget when I weighed her. But you know, this is a beautiful girl that I'm hoping I really have luck with her next year, and I've got a fantastic male to pair her up with. Absolute beaut. And lastly, I'd like to show you this absolute beaut that I picked up a couple of days ago. She is an adult, unproven bamboo 100% het clown. She's still quite small. She's just sitting on 1,000 grams at the moment. She is approximately 2.5 to 3 years old. I think she's got a bit of paradox on her, and I think they call it that. There's a black spot there. But she's 100% het clown. And I'm also going to work with her over the next 7 months, 8 months. Also try and get her to a minimum of 1,800 grams before I pair her up. And you know, normally these snakes don't eat as you change environments, and you know, I did offer her food on the second night she was with me, and she took it. She smashed it. A nice, decent size rat. So she is a good eater. She didn't go on a hunger strike. I'm hoping that she'll carry on feeding on a weekly basis for me, so that, you know, come winter next year, I'm gonna have some good size out of her. She's definitely will be the right age, and if I can get her as close to 2,000 grams as possible, well, then, you know, who knows? I may have the gods of the odds smile down on me with this girl. So yeah, just talking about those girls that didn't go, I know that there are guys that have bred snakes that are 1,200 grams and they've gone and they have produced healthy clutches of eggs. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. I tried it myself, you know. I think anything under 1,200 grams is just no, don't do it. They're too small. I don't profess to know everything about ball pythons. I'm still very new to the hobby, but I do know that pairing up too soon is a mistake. You don't want to put too much strain on the snake. Breeding them at a too young an age, and their bodies can't handle it. They need to have a good amount of fat on them and some size on them, because, you know, when they do, those follicles develop into eggs and they become gravid and whatnot, all their energy is going to go into, you know, creating the life inside that egg. And you know, they need to be heavy, and they need to have that great body condition in order for you to have a nice, decent, healthy clutch. So guys, yeah, that's it from me. I just wanted to show you those girls, and I'll do another video later on about us with some other girls that I've got for another breeding project. But for now, I just wanted to show you those girls. I'm very, very excited about them. I love the Pied project. The Pied project is going to be something that North Coast Constrictors specializes in. I've got about 4 different pod combinations that I'm going to be working on over the next 3 years. Really good stuff, really high-end stuff. I know I'm still new to this, but I've done a lot of research. I've watched countless YouTube videos. Everybody loves a pod. They are great looking snakes, they're beautiful snakes, and there's so much that you can do with them if you add a little bit here and a little bit there. I know in my head what I've got planned and what I want to do, and one day I hope to be standing in front of the camera and showing you a clutch of eggs that is something that is absolutely mind-blowing. And I look forward to that day. Anyway, please, if you like this, like and subscribe, and we'd be happy to have you on our channel and catching us for updates. I'm still learning the whole YouTube thing and how to create content, so you know, this doesn't come it doesn't flow off the tongue for me like a lot of the YouTube guys that I watch that have been doing this for years. It's like second nature to them. So I'm in awe a little bit and I kind of lose my train of thought. So just bear with me while I'm finding my feet around this YouTube thing. But I want to promise you that North Coast Constrictors, we are absolutely committed to producing top quality snakes, genetics that you can trust, healthy snakes. You know, we went into this with a vision and a goal. Admittedly, those goals and the vision has changed. When I went into it a year ago, it was quite small and I didn't really see myself growing. I kind of was going to stick around being a hobbyist breeder and just having a few snakes. And after a couple of months, the bug really hit, the bug really bit me. And I've decided to do this on a larger scale. I don't know how large, who knows? How deep is a hole? How long is a piece of string? Who knows? What's large for me is minute for somebody else, and what's average for me may be large for somebody else. I don't know. Right now I'm sitting on just under 70 ball pythons. I have 2 Dumerils boas. I have a Ridley's cave dwelling rat snake. I'll be breeding those Dumerils boas next year, possibly. They are beautiful snakes as well. I'll do another YouTube video on those. I'm hoping to get into the retic market as well. I've got my eye on some beautiful genetics, some reticulated pythons with some really great genetics. It is a very niche market here in South Africa. It's not our market, and snake market is nowhere near that of America and the UK. If you go into Morph Market and you look at what's for sale here in South Africa, and you go and look at the Europe and America, it'll just blow your mind. I mean, if you go into Morph Market today in South Africa, there's under 500 snakes for sale. If you go on to America, I think it's sitting at 30,000. I stand to be corrected. The UK is also in the like 20 something thousand. I stand to be corrected. The last time I checked, that's the figures that I got. But here in South Africa, it's just and that's for ball pythons only. And retics in South Africa, most of those sales take place between breeders that know each other. There's maybe 5 to 7 retics advertised on Morph Market here in South Africa, and they are very, you know, I don't like to call any snake a low-end snake. I love all snakes. I think they're fantastic. It's just the genetics of them. When you say low-end, I suppose you're just referring to the value of the snake, you know, and the colorings and the markings on the snake. What makes it unique and more expensive is if there's supply and demand. If there's less of that particular gene, that's what's going to drive up the price. And only the snakes that are available right now on Morph Market that are retics in South Africa are really entry-level stuff. And I've got my my plan is to breed some really good high-end genetic retics in the future. But we're looking at 3 years down the line for something like that. Right now, it's ball pythons. It's all about ball pythons. And please watch us, follow us for future content. I promise you my videos will get better. I'll start getting a bit more comfortable around the camera and not stutter and mumble and and ah so much, as I said, and I'll stop waffling on. And I'm learning every single day. It's a fantastic hobby. If I'm not here in my snake room, I'm obviously at my full-time job. When I finish work, I get home and get into the snake room, and when I'm lying in bed at night, I'm on my iPad and I'm just researching genes, genetics, morphs, what's selling, what's not selling, what you can produce, what the possibilities are, and I've got a goal in mind over the next 2 years and where I'm going to take North Coast constrictors, and I hope to be one of the reputable breeders in South Africa in the next 2 years. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week. Cheers.